Residents of Salem, Illinois are deeply concerned about the proposed installation of flock safety surveillance cameras in their community. These citizens view flock safety technology as a significant threat to civil liberties, fearing the creation of a mass surveillance system that could erode fundamental rights and disproportionately impact vulnerable communities. The proposal to enter into a 2-year agreement for 4 flock safety license plate readers around Salem was initially tabled due to budget constraints, but was later brought back for consideration in September 2025 after a grant was secured. Police Chief Todd Bowles and City Manager Lisa Peck, they advocate for the system, stating it gives police an edge to deter crime and to track and locate suspects, better preparing officers for traffic stops. However,
so there's 4 cameras mounted on the car for the license plate reader system.
It's pretty good as far as getting the correct plates.
What they do is they take a picture of the license plate and then it basically queries the registered owner of the license plate.
Concerned citizens see beyond these claimed benefits, focusing on the broader implications of such pervasive surveillance.
Eastbound, I got a gray Acura.
So it's that one right there that just passed us.
Stop the car.
Do you have your driver's license, registration, insurance? Can I see that, please? Thank you.
Verify the information, make sure the plate matches the car.
The fact that the proposal was bundled into a combined vote with other unrelated items, failing Councilman Tommy for Liberty's motion for an individual vote, further fuels the concern about transparency and adequate public discussion.
Community members are clear. They feel like all of this recent controversy has gotten out of hand.
The context of the recent controversies within the Salem City Council, including allegations against a former mayor for personal attacks against the citizens and public shaming, as well as an alleged Open Meetings Act violation and censures of council members, may contribute to citizen skepticism and demand for greater transparency and oversight regarding flock safety proposals. What is flock safety and why it's a concern? For those that don't know, flock safety specializes in automated license plate recognition (ALPR) systems that uses AI and machine learning to capture images of vehicles. These cameras identify not only license plate numbers, but also a range of vehicle characteristics, which Flock calls vehicle fingerprint technology. This includes vehicle make, model, color, state of the license plate, whether plates are covered or missing, and even unique features like roof racks or bumper stickers. All of this captured data is uploaded to a central cloud server, creating a vast database of vehicle sightings and continuously recording vehicle movements within its range. For privacy advocates, this vehicle fingerprint technology is particularly alarming because it enables searches for vehicles based on descriptive features, potentially allowing for targeting individuals based on politically expressive bumper stickers or other First Amendment protected activities. Beyond ALPR, flock safety is expanding into other surveillance technologies. These include Raven, a gunshot detection system that also purports to detect sounds like screeching tires, breaking glass, and sawing metal. This raises significant concerns about wiretapping laws and the potential for inadvertently recording private conversations, especially since Flock's audio sensors are placed so close to the ground with LPR cameras, making them more likely to pick up human speech. Nova. It's a public safety data platform, allegedly, designed to integrate ALPR data with information from computer-aided dispatch, also referred to as CAD amongst the law enforcement community, and record management system, known as RMS, and open source intelligence. And it effectively creates a unified interface for comprehensive tracking. Concerned citizens aligned with the EFF view this extensive data collection as an invasion of privacy with a high potential for misuse. Flock Safety's business model is seen as effectively enlisting its customers, including private entities and police departments, into a giant, centralized government surveillance network, and it aims to expand to every single city in America. This network, it feeds data into centralized databases accessible to over 4,800 agencies nationwide. This allows searches across state lines and against state police watch lists and the FBI's National Crime Information Center, known as NCIC. This creates an unprecedented public-private, distributed yet centralized surveillance machine. Core privacy violations and risks. Mass surveillance of innocent individuals. The most fundamental concern is that Flock's cameras capture data on all vehicles, not just those suspected of crimes. This indiscriminate data collection leads to a detailed record of people's movements and routines, raising significant Fourth Amendment concerns about warrantless surveillance. The U.S. Supreme Court has established that individuals have a reasonable expectation of privacy in the whole of their physical movements, even in public. Because of these privacies of life, those movements can reveal. Aggregating digital location data over time, as ALPRs do, creates a deeply revealing record that should require a warrant. Data retention and long-term tracking. While Flock's default data retention is 30 days, creating a substantial historical record of vehicle movements, privacy advocates argue that this is still too long. The lack of standardized retention periods across different customer agencies raises concerns about potential misuse and long-term tracking. The Supreme Court has indicated that even 7 or 28 days of location tracking can constitute a Fourth Amendment, quote, search, unquote, requiring a warrant. Citizens worry that this data could be retained indefinitely or that policies could change. Data sharing and centralization. Flock data is shared with law enforcement and can be accessed by subscribing agencies nationwide. In Illinois, an audit revealed that Flock had previously shared license plate data with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection in violation of state law, heightening fears about data use in immigration or abortion-related investigations. The company's centralized database poses enormous risk of privacy violations and abuses, as it allows law enforcement to know the detailed movement of virtually any vehicle as far into the past as the data is held. Potential for misuse and abuse. Internal misuse. There is documented risk of the system being misused by those with access. A Ketchy, Kansas police lieutenant was sentenced to probation for using Flock Safety's system to stalk his estranged wife, highlighting the potential for abuse by individual officers. There are concerns that neighborhood administrators or other private parties who are not subject to those same training and oversight as police could also misuse the data to snoop on neighbors. Errors and misidentification. The technology is not foolproof. A black family in Aurora, Colorado was wrongly detained at gunpoint and handcuffed for 2 hours due to a mistaken ALPR alert that identified their vehicle's license plate as belonging to a stolen motorcycle, resulting in a $1.9 million settlement. Such incidents highlight the devastating consequences of errors. Accuracy problems include misidentification of a license plate state up to 10% in tests, and reliance on notoriously inaccurate databases like the FBI's NCIC. Dangerously weaponized. The Electronic Frontier Foundation has expressed concerns that the technology could be dangerously weaponized if used improperly. Disproportionate impact on vulnerable communities. A significant concern for privacy advocates is that surveillance systems like the Flocks tend to have a disproportionate impact on Black and Brown and other historically disadvantaged communities. The Aurora incident, where a Black family was racially profiled and subjected to traumatic treatment due to an ALPR error, underscores how such technology can intensify existing biases in policing. The ACLU and the EFF values emphasize that ALPR systems could be disproportionately deployed in certain neighborhoods, leading to over-policing and potential profiling of minority communities. This can draw poor people into an escalating cycle of fines, fees, and entanglement with the criminal justice system, especially when combined with the enforcement of low-level offenses related to automobiles. So don't forget, check your tag lights, make sure they work. It's a notorious problem for getting pulled over for. Legal and constitutional challenges. The deployment of flock safety cameras raises fundamental legal questions about the Fourth Amendment protection against unreasonable searches. The federal lawsuit filed by the Institute for Justice against the city of Norfolk, Virginia, challenges the widespread deployment of flock safety ALPR cameras as an unconstitutional, warrantless surveillance program that monitors every motorist. This lawsuit draws on precedents like Carpenter versus United States and Leaders of a Beautiful Struggle versus Baltimore Police Department, which emphasizes that aggregated digital location data or continuous surveillance over time creates a mosaic of an individual's activities, infringing on privacy rights and constituting a search that requires a warrant. Furthermore, the state actor doctrine suggests that if flock safety is acting in concert with police departments, it could be considered a state actor and thus be subject to constitutional constraints, despite being a private company. This means that the privacy protection that Flock claims to offer, such as not selling data or retaining it for only 30 days, are not sufficient. There are no guarantees the company will always follow its stated policies. Recommendations from privacy advocates. Concerned citizens in Salem, guided by ACLU and EFF values, would advocate for the following. Oppose mass surveillance. The primary recommendation is to oppose the deployment of mass surveillance ALPR systems like Flock Safety. Axion is another one in the mix. Strict regulations and oversight. If such systems are adopted, very strict regulations are essential. This includes limiting data retention to a very short period for non-hit data. For example, purging within 3 minutes of capture rather than 30 days. Ensuring transparency about data collection, storage, and sharing practices. Implementing robust community oversight and public input in decision-making process. Requiring judicial oversight and warrants for searches of ALPR databases to protect Fourth Amendment rights. Requiring a warrant should be a minimum. Certified hot lists. Only use hot lists that are certified by independent auditors, meet high due process standards, allowing individuals to challenge their inclusion, are based only on individualized suspicion, non-First Amendment protected activity, and meet reliability standards. The FBI's NCIC database, which Flock uses, does not currently meet these standards. No sharing with non-compliant third parties. Law enforcement agencies should not share license plate reader data with third parties that do not adhere to these principles, and sharing practices must be transparent. Careful legal analysis. Communities should undertake careful legal analysis in light of Supreme Court decisions like Carpenter before entering partnerships with surveillance companies. Require public approval. Decisions to deploy surveillance technology should be made through a transparent process, requiring approval from the City Council or other elected governing bodies, and allowing for public input and debate. Let me repeat that. And allowing for public input and debate. Private institutions' responsibility. Private entities like businesses or homeowners associations, often customers of Flock, should carefully consider if they truly need such dragnet surveillance, disclose its use to those subjected to it, and ask pointed questions about data access retention and restrictions and auditing. In conclusion, for many Salem residents prioritizing privacy, the proposed Flock safety cameras represent a step towards unaccountable surveillance state, threatening individual privacy, civil liberties, and potentially exacerbating existing societal inequalities. They would urge the City Council to heed their concerns raised by national privacy advocates and reject or strictly regulate the technology to safeguard the community's rights.